We're live.
Ooh, we're
So
back.
wait a little bit for some people to filter in.
I think I'm gonna make
excited for this one.
a post saying that we're live.
What's up?
I'm gonna make a post saying that we're live.
We're live.
Okay, cool. I did in advance, but hold up.
Oh, I got an ad. You're making that money.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I literally get like no ad revenue from these.
It's 5-second ad.
Dude, one of them got a strike on it. I think because we were
Why?
swearing.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh no.
No more foul language when I'm yelling at people about Rick Doc Martens.
No more zipper.
Okay. I just posted. All right, perfect.
Hey man, no more zippers.
What'd you say?
Said no more zipper. You know what?
He's gonna be in here. I already know.
I should get on the chat. Let me get on the chat. Let's see.
I got the chat up already.
Oh man.
All right.
Yeah, I just got the live notification for.
The Concrete
Yo,
Garden
Concrete
says,
Garden.
"Yo."
What's up?
That's me.
Oh, that's you?
Is it really?
That's me.
Yeah, I was like, hey, we got a viewer.
We have 4 watching right now.
Yo, Christian Ferguson says yo.
Yo! Oh, we got 10
we might
watching
have-
now. It just jumped. We went from 4
Really?
to 10 real fast.
Yeah, so
You're
11.
ahead of me.
Hey, Gabby.
YouTube Noti just came out. That's why.
What'd you say?
I said the YouTube
Gabby
Noti
says hello.
That's why.
Oh.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
we got 11 now.
You guys want to get into it?
Yeah, we can get
Hell
into
yeah,
it,
bro.
for sure.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning in to episode, I believe
4.
it is, of Honest Faction. It's 4? We've had,
Thank you for
I don't know,
35.
the next episode of Honest Faction anyways. Today we're going to be kind of breaking down the whole Comme des Garçons universe. Jacob, Alex, and Christian each have a line of Comme des Garçons that they're going to talk about. And then I'm going to kind of break down like the brand ethos and the design principles and things like that. So who wants to go first?
That's me. Okay, so I'm doing Comme des Garçons en plus. And if I'm being honest, I did not know anything about this before we started. But essentially what it is, it's like Rei Kawakubo's like expression line, and it's menswear. And she just takes like really traditional silhouettes like suits and like crop trousers and stuff like that, adds patchwork, turns it inside out, takes really crazy fabrics and adds cool patterns and stuff like that, and just kind of turns it into her own thing. It's kind of just like a really, really, really expensive subgenre of Comme des Garçons. So a lot of it isn't wearable in a sense, but if you're like a really hardcore Comme des Garçons fan, like obviously you're gonna wear it. And the way that I view CDG is like it's essentially the experimental piece to like the huge puzzle that CDG is. It just kind of fits in and just lets Rei Kawakubo express herself and express how she wants to change these traditional silhouettes for the better. It's kind of just like a beautiful cluster of collections, and they all follow this one rule that Rei Kawakubo has set with like the traditional silhouettes. And she just, I don't know if you guys know this, but like Rei Kawakubo, she doesn't do like collection like reviews. She doesn't talk about them. She just does like a one-liner. So for the, I think it was the 2016 collection, whichever one had the really, really bright, crazy colors. Basically, she said what's on the inside matters. And so in this collection, she basically, every suit was inside out and had patchwork and stuff like that. And the really cool part about it is that she essentially told every single model, do whatever you want on the runway, which is really unprecedented because usually they're very cut and dry and like, yo, do this, do this, do this. But no, like all these teenagers just went out and they did whatever they want, and they were like grouped up and they were jumping around and skipping. And I feel like that really sums up CDGHP because it's really just whatever Ray wants. And I think that's really cool. I have a few like pieces or like collection photos if I can figure out how to show them. How do I do this?
Wait, remember you go to Wait, no shit. I forgot how you even share your screen.
You know what? I'm gonna go
Bottom
virtual
right?
background and see if I can do it.
Is it bottom right? Oh yeah, do the virtual background.
Okay, so this was.
Oh.
Green screen himself.
Yo,
into the
green screen.
collection.
We're
Can
on
you guys see
TikTok.
that?
We're on TikTok.
Okay.
This man's
So-
Alex.
So essentially, oh my god, you can't even see. I got turned this way. Okay, so you can see like right here, it's got like the inside out suit, and there's no buttons on the outside because it's literally inside out. And then this is the most unconventional way. Okay, and then the trousers are like glittery, and then this is the teenager. And then hold on, let me change my virtual background to another photo from it.
Wait, where's
Okay.
the teenagers?
What? These are all the teenagers. These are all the models. All the models are just teenage boys, and they literally just told them, do whatever you want. So this is literally in the middle of the runway show. They're all just clustered up, and there's 3 of them posing. So
That's
yeah,
crazy.
I feel like that embodies CDGHP really well. And I'll show a few more photos. This is another one, and you can see
Whoa.
it's got like chains coming down here, and it's got the kind of traditional tailored suit, but it drapes all the way down. It's really cool. I'll show
That
one more.
makeup is dope.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
She just does whatever she wants, and that's why I admire this line so much.
CDGHP does a really good job with the presentation and not just the collection itself.
Yeah, so you see on this one as well, he's got some like, it's a
Wow.
traditional tailored suit, and then there's some like leather work. I don't even.
That's
it's
the
like,
backplate armor piece. I remember
Yeah,
seeing
it's
that one
insane.
a while ago. Mhm.
yeah. So
know
essentially,
if you
that is
guys-
what.
Did you guys see the latest, like the online CDGHP presentation?
Yeah, so that
Like-
was the metallic
Yeah, that was
collection, right?
Yeah, I didn't like the pieces, but I thought it was cool how the presentation, like Christian said, was sort of like a performance art type thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I just like
Yeah.
wandered around and there was like projection. I thought
Yeah,
that-
it's dope.
I thought that they
One
did a
thing
really
that-
good job with that show. Just not so much in the way that the clothes were done, because
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
mainly just not unwearable, but it was just like really like bold and like just monochromatically silver pieces. But
Yeah,
the collection itself was presented in a really cool manner. I enjoyed the fact that it was close to a traditional runway in the way that it was like shot, but at the same time it was different from what we're used to seeing because of the fact that it was virtual as well.
Yeah. for sure.
yeah. I have a cool quote. It says, "Kawakubo, who reinvents the wheel or tries to every season," and I feel like that's very, very fitting for the subgenre. It just kind of fits. She does something new
Yeah.
every single season without fail.
Well, CDGHP is like more or less like the main line for Comme des Garçons. Like everything else from that point onwards is like the stem off of CDGHP, and that's
Mhm.
mainly like what people look for. I mean, CDG shirt is probably the next biggest line outside of that, I'd assume. But
Yeah.
I just feel like from everything that goes into CDGHP, it's definitely the biggest embodiment of where Ray puts her time and effort into, for sure.
Yes, facts. Yeah, I totally agree. All right,
But
that's CDGHP.
CDGHP.
That's all I got.
Jacob
All right.
or me? What's up?
Me? Okay.
Do you want me to go or?
I'm down. All
All
right.
right, for
So
Who's up to the
I
board?
did Gay no Yima, who is honestly, I might say someone who could potentially, and I mean potentially, run CDG as a whole once everything,
Criminally underrated.
dude.
Mhm.
Oh my God, criminally underrated. And the things that he's done under like the wing of Ray Kawakubo, and mind you, like how Christian mentioned, Ray that just goes in, no expectations, do what you want.
Mhm.
In this certain situation, when she does, because okay, basic intro, he was learning French literature in Antwerp when he quit like mid-semester, said, man, whatever, I want to go work for Ray. So he went without the intention of actually making clothes. He just wanted to be a pattern maker. Like the thing is that he went in, and this is back in 2008. He went to go do pattern making for Comme des Garçons in 2008. Later realizing that he gets all of the creative freedom he wants under the one notion that he's always enveloping new ways to bind fabrics, new ways to cut, new ways to find drape, because that's what Kawakubo is most interested in. If you notice, a lot of the times, like you mentioned with On Plus, dude, like the silhouettes aren't just extremely tight, not form fitting. They're not as normal as any garment would be. They're always flowy. They have a perfect drape. And dude, the shoulders on on her tailoring, dude,
Buttery.
buttery. But yeah, so
Chef's kiss.
later, Kawakubo notices him. Obviously, like you're working very close with Kawakubo, and most times you're always there on set with her. So in 2012, she said, "Go ahead, you got your own label." 2012, and that's when he came with Noir. So signatures of the Noir line include high contrast silhouettes, ultra feminine detailing, artful uses of synthetics, and an exclusively black color and occasionally ghoulish white palette, which a lot of the times we see this with his line. Obviously, it's Noir, but when he touches with white, it's a completely different experience. It's okay. I can't really pull up pictures because all my pictures are on my phone. But when I was in DSM, I saw a lot of the pieces in hand, and the silhouettes of how they are so erratic. Like all of them are like completely wide. A lot of them are super flowy, and they all stack amazingly. It's the most aggressive garment I've ever seen, but it sits on the body so elegantly, and the white is just the perfect juxtaposition, dude. It's like amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that really, what I thought was interesting about him is that the fact that his craftsmanship with the garments, he doesn't even stitch any of the garments. A lot of it's binded. So the way
Really?
that, yeah. So if you were to see pieces in hand, you would notice that the fabrics are not only binded, but it has the least amount of stitching just so it can like contain the volume.
Wow.
Like the garments themselves like aren't pieced. When you're putting something together with stitching, it's like when you're welding something. If you're reinforcing it, it's going to be more sturdy. So then from there, if you're like doing, say, like multiple stitches on like a pair of jeans, you're going to create a more stiffer and raw style pattern. So that's why selvage done with reinforced stitching is going to be harder and it's more dense. So like by creating a more flowy garment that's put together in that sense, then yeah, it definitely will have like more drape to it, like you were saying. So that's
I want to add one more thing. Something that was mentioned a lot throughout this book is that Ray really relies on her pattern makers to come up with something new. Like that's one of her main things that she believes in. She doesn't really like design anything from like a solid idea. She more gives the pattern makers like an abstract idea. She said sometimes even she'll just say one word and they come up with something based on that. And the pattern makers are so talented that it's always something new. That's literally like Christian said, it's always something new. She really just needs to give them an idea and they'll bring that to life.
Wow.
And that's what's crazy about Comme des Garçons, because not only do people think that Ray is just the head of everything, yes, she's the head of everything, but she's also giving the most, like honestly, when you think of fashion and you think of getting a job in fashion, people automatically assume that you have all the creative freedom, even though, like, say you're with Dior. Yes, you do get creative freedom, but the thing is that they have a system set up before you even get in. Like, they have a set plan for you. They have these like patterns already made, so you can go ahead and like cut them out for them. Like it's very uniform there. And when we think of an anti-fashion house, that is the most like, I don't even know how to say it really, but they've stuck to it. Like, and the irony is that they're as big, like just as big now as they like were then, but even bigger, like at a greater scale. They're huge now.
I learned
Well-
that CDG comes in with $280 million in profit annually, which is absolutely absurd.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's $250 million.
That's also not including the fact that they have subcategory lines. Like from there, I don't think a lot of people realize this, but for a while, Gosha was under the CDG banner
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of brands that aren't directly correlated with the CDG branding and have
Mhm.
CDG written all over it. But like
Yeah.
Corso Como is also under the CDG label. There's a lot of brands that aren't directly correlated to CDG that have multiple connections to the brand and are still owned by the same company. It's like LVMH. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's just a big branch. It's not
Mhm.
everything to do with Comme des Garçons. There's expansion outside of that.
I find
Exactly.
that crazy how Ray has been able to like create that empire. Meanwhile, she has nearly 24 subcategories on just under CDG. That's
Mhm.
insane. How
Well,
do you
there's a
even
lot more
manage
outside
that?
of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy.
But that's where the credit needs to come in as well, where it's due, because a lot of people don't understand that Ray isn't manning 24 brands at one time. There's multiple
true.
subcategories that are run by other people. There's
Mhm.
more creative directors than just one. And I feel as if there's not enough credit that other designers are getting because of the fact that it's overshadowed. It's again,
Exactly.
nobody's fault. It's not like Ray is taking all the credit for all of this, but by naming it Comme des Garçons, it's creating that sort of stigma that Ray runs the entirety of it. So I feel as if a lot of people just need to look more into what they're buying before they're buying it, so they know that it's not like Ray is doing all of the work for everything, because that's humanly
Yeah.
impossible.
Another
Yeah.
thing I
You look
feel
at
like
the-
a lot of
my
people,
bad.
a lot of things, I mean, another thing that I feel like a lot of people don't realize is that this brand has existed since the early 70s,
Yeah.
like nothing new.
Yeah.
So that like annual revenue is a buildup of all those years of work.
Well, it's not just like CDG all of a sudden blew up as soon as CDG Play started becoming
Yeah.
popular and people wore it on Instagram in 2015.
You
It's
have
not
to
like
look at that.
Go off.
Well, I'll
save that
save
till
my
later.
tangent for the end. We're gonna have a little rant session at the end again. I'll go off again, but yeah, I just feel as if there's not enough recognition into the fact that a brand has history like this.
Yeah.
I feel as if with more archival brands, it's really easy to understand that there is a deeply rooted history because of the fact that you've seen all these garments from the 90s and from the 80s even. But with brands like Comme des Garçons and even with Junior Watanabe, which I'm about to talk about, there's so much history that's deeper than what you've been seeing as of recent. I mean, the most recent CDG stuff or Junior stuff that almost everybody's familiar with is probably Spring Summer 2002 Poem, is as early as anyone can remember for Junior. And for Comme des Garçons, I'm sure people aren't remembering too much further back than early 2000s, when the brand has history that goes back another 30 years too.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of argue with that though, because all of like the patchwork denim just kind of blew up, and that was not 2002. But I mean, yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I'm just saying that like a lot of the older pieces get discredited, and
Yeah.
I feel as if there's a lot of bodies of work that she's been continuing to innovate with throughout the past almost 4 decades, more than 4 decades, 5 decades now.
Yeah.
And it's just gone. It's disappointing when you're looking at it from a design perspective. I mean, I had a vest from 1992. I think I sold it for
I remember that one.
$250. It was beautiful. I honestly like
It really
couldn't
was.
understand why I wouldn't go for any more than that, because people just don't really appreciate the brand's history behind it in the same sense that you would with an archival brand, which is disappointing. But at the same time, it is nice to see the credit finally come to Garçons the way that it deserves to be.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Cole Slater said in the chat that he wrote a paper about the history of Ray's work, and she first took off after she opened a small shop in Tokyo selling clothes that are made for the free movement. For her, that meant making really wide trousers that was super out of the norm back then. Also using all black.
Yeah, Ray
Yeah.
also kind of came in at a time period where every like women's piece of clothing was really sexualized and showing as much skin as humanly possible, whereas she came in and was just said fuck that and put as many layers and everything that hid the skin, and it took off, which was like, that's really difficult thing to do. She created her own trend, which is still seen today, the whole anti-fashion movement.
It's not even a trend at this point, though. I mean, anti-fashion is more so a movement than what it would be a trend. And it's honestly
it's like a culture at this point.
Yeah, it's
I
impossible.
literally was going to show that picture. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just think that like with anti-fashion as a whole, if you want to look into like the history of design and how far back Ray's work goes, every single one of your favorite designers right now is more or less somehow inspired by Ray, whether it's directly or indirectly inspired by her. Mm-hmm. She's a godmother to fashion as a whole. I mean, she's looked after the entire community. When it comes to the newer and upcoming Japanese designers, there's everybody that's in the industry has been taken from Bunka and looked after by Ray. Like Jun Takahashi, his work started because Ray was telling people this guy is outstanding. And then he was able to take his work to Paris because Ray was funding him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have had the capability of doing that. Junior Watanabe was only capable of doing what he was doing because of the fact that Ray was backing him with funding and he was able to design for Ray.
Yeah, like, Ray is mom.
So much designers that have. Yeah, well, I mean, even Margiela is inspired by Ray. Yeah. And then people want to talk about Margiela being like the father to anti-fashion.
He's really, I guess
he is in a sense.
After that.
He is in a sense, but like when it comes to the origins of anti-fashion, like it started in Japan with Rei Kawakubo, and then I guess probably the next person I'd say is Yoji Yamamoto.
Yeah,
and
then they were literally married.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Well, it's kind of odd because I've heard that with their design processes, they're very isolated, even though
they didn't talk about.
They don't even show each other their pieces. They don't. They don't communicate.
Yeah.
They don't share design like aspects. They don't give a single thing. When you notice, you can tell the difference between a Comme and a Yoji piece.
Yeah,
and that's because it's completely uniform to them. They don't share any of that. And that's what I really kind of admired because they stayed true to themselves, rather than just linking up and being like, okay, so it's together now.
I want to talk about that actually. So, Yoji wanted to go to Paris to show his collections because obviously Paris.
That's the hot spot. Yeah.
And Ray was like, no. Ray was like, no. We're staying in Japan. Like, this is where we are. So Yoji said, okay, I'm leaving. And he went to Paris and showed his collection. And on the day of his collection, he found out that Ray was having a show in Paris, like at the same exact time.
Oh my God.
What?
Both of their, yes, bro, you can find that out. Yeah, they split up. He left to go to Paris and he found at the exact same time of his show, Ray was having a show in Paris as well.
That's crazy.
That's dirty.
Yeah.
Wow. Damn, Ray. Okay.
Okay.
Like, that's how you feel.
With their design processes, I just think that like touching back on the fact that like how separate but together they were, like imagine just being married to a person and not talking about your work life at all when you're doing something that's directly correlated. I mean, with like a casual marriage, when you come back home, how was work? No, you're not talking about that anymore. You both come in silently after the fact that you've just gone through a complete design process and put together a collection that you're probably immensely proud of. And then you're just not going to show it to the person that matters to you most. It's so interesting because like you were saying, Jacob, they're very defined in the way that they have their own bodies of work. And there's no CDG season that I've looked at and said, wow, that looks a lot like Yoji this year. Is it because they were married and they talked about it and got inspired by each other? No.
Yeah. Exactly. They literally did not speak on it.
Yo, shout out to Cole Slater for going off in the chat. He's really contributing a lot.
Yeah.
Wait, what book is that, Jacob? Somebody asked. Is it the
this is the subtitle book with art direction by Tsubiya Inoue. The original.
I've always wanted that.
This is the paperback one. Or not even the paperback. This is the hardback one, but it has the paper lining. What year is this? This was dead stuff.
It's like 2000.
1988 to 89.
Wow.
It was like
I didn't think it was that old.
Yeah,
dude, it's old. Like this should have been a completely white surface, but now it's more or less like a
like yellow.
Like
beautifully aged.
Green vintage fade.
Dude, brand new.
Wait, that's brand new?
It came brand new plastic.
Wait, Jacob, did you have more you wanted to say about K?
Yeah, I did actually. So I'm just gonna take a few words from an interview that was on. Who was this with? This is with another mag back in 2016. This was another one. So one that I really thought that was interesting is that the interview asked, And how, okay, so it starts off as you studied fashion in Antwerp's Royal Academy of Fine Arts. I was in the university and I started to work by myself to make small objects, little pieces of fabric. But I didn't know the method to make clothes. So then I wanted to study fashion techniques to learn how to make patterns. Then I decided to go to school. This is why I went to Antwerp. And what and how was your experience of Antwerp? What did it teach you? What did it teach me? Antwerp. And he laughs. Actually, they never taught me anything. I did the same thing I was doing before, and the teachers that then said that it was what? Oh, said if it was okay or not. And that was over. That was all. And before Antwerp, he studied French literature, and he just says, yeah. So I think that's pretty interesting because I find a lot of like, oh God, I don't even know. I can't speak. But like I find
Good.
it's like deep within me, and I feel that so vividly because he's so curious, yet he's blunt about what he wants. And
Mhm.
it's as if he still doesn't know exactly what he wants, but he knows exactly how to execute it,
Yeah.
which is something that
Mhm.
Ray is extremely gifted with. It's just that it's not an ignorance, but it's just a lack of personal understanding to where you can just make something as vague or say something as vague as possible and it will come out with the greatest outcome because you know as you go down along the line you will find it in you to just like
Mhm.
pinpoint it, and once you pinpoint it it's over, like that's it.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that I can really relate to.
hmm
And then one final
Um.
thing.
Oh, continue. No, go ahead.
Okay.
I was just gonna read the chat real quick. Go ahead.
Okay. And one thing I thought was pretty interesting, this is back in 2016. I'm pretty sure he's close to being in his 40s now, but I don't know. He's probably in his mid 30s. But back in 2016, the interviewer says, do you have specific advice for young designers? I am too young. I am the one who needs the advice. From a young designer to young designer then. I don't know. I just want more people in the world to make clothes with the same kind of stance, pure creation. Just trying to make something they've never seen before. And then one thing that I found was really interesting is that the interviewer asked how he feels about the detachment from the fashion world, as his ethics are a lot more about inventing new materials and innovating like new inspirations. And he says, the company policy for Comme des Garçons is no trend, no marketing, nothing. It is the making of clothes. We are working up for 2 months on a single piece. That's why we can't research. We don't have time to research. And I really like the fact that he takes the time to really just step out of his own like ego and understand that he's still learning. And there's a
Yeah.
detachment in age and the design process.
That is so badass. Just
Wonder
saying.
if
I don't
Dude is
have
such a
time for
badass.
research. That is so cool, bro.
Have you guys seen a picture of this guy? He looks fucking sick.
I've
Mhm.
seen him.
Yeah.
Yo,
That's
that's
crazy.
crazy.
Dude,
That's so
gonna,
dope.
one thing I was gonna touch on is that they literally take no like inspiration from the outside world, and a lot of the things that they have made in the past have been misinterpreted as like social commentary.
yeah.
When it's
Yeah.
really just like what is going on inside Ray's mind. I'm gonna talk about that more in a little bit, but
Mhm.
I feel like that has to do with that. They really don't
Alright.
they don't research or pay attention to what's going on in fashion or in the world or anything that's
Mhm.
going outside of their little sphere or universe. And I think that's what makes it so great.
Well, with the marketing process, like you were just saying, Jacob, like if they're not, they have you ever seen the CDG advertisement for anything? Like there's hardly any type of Comme des Garçons advertisements, if not any at all.
They
But like,
literally keep them. They archive them and they put them in books like this so they can sell them. That's the one thing about their advertisements that I've noticed. There's never a single ad ever. And if it is, it's the smallest piece of paper that you would never expect to be an ad.
and it's
Mhm.
it's usually editorial shoots too. They get released after the collection's been put out, so then you can just have the publicized like pictures or the just I guess the publishings of it.
Right.
But yeah, seeing no advertisement from a brand is really innovative, or not even innovative because they've been doing it for so long, but it's just revolutionary. And like, especially with the more consumeristic culture that we have now, it's almost to the point of where advertising isn't so much asking you to buy something. It's almost just pressuring you or forcing you into buying
Hold up.
something.
Can I show those ad posters that I just bought?
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Please.
I gotta find them. I don't know where I put them.
While we wait, Cole
Okay,
Slater
go.
said, "No problem, y'all inspire me. I'm too scared to put myself out there in the fashion world, so y'all are lit. The courage will come someday."
Yeah,
Thank you,
man.
bro.
Hey, man.
You sound super
So-
knowledgeable what you're talking about. So
Dude,
just
come
get
on
it
the
out there.
show.
Yeah,
Just
man.
toss
Come
it
on
in
the
and be on it.
show.
Can't be
but
scared of judgment.
you said like they don't ask you to buy the pieces. This is really
Yeah.
just here. This is an original spring summer 2000 ad. It literally just says the spring summer 2000 collection has arrived with a drop.
That's amazing.
It's
It's
so
so
cool.
sick. Oh, you know what's crazy though? That's something that's parallel with that ad. I've noticed there's this one shoot that they did with a pair of boots and some water, and they literally filled it, and I think they just had dropped like boulders inside of it. But like, I've noticed feet and boots, like shoes in general, are a very big thing for Ray, and I have no idea why.
Yeah,
Like,
like
there's countless like, yeah, and like there's like countless pictures of like feet in this book, and it's
what's going on there?
yeah.
That's cool, bro. The photography is just so amazing.
Yeah.
It's just
Like
it's one of
I'll
those
show-
things.
I'm literally like giving my presentation before I even start, but like
No, it's good.
there's some of the photography in here, and there's
Yeah,
like
it's real.
illustration too.
That's so cool.
Crazy. This is a sneak peek.
All right.
Sneak
Well,
peek.
just like before I get into Junior, one last thing as well. The only other brand that I can really compare the advertising of Comme des Garçons label to is Patagonia. That's the only other brand that I can really compare it to, because Patagonia actually is, I guess, more so even further left than what Comme des Garçons is, because Comme des Garçons kind of just saying, like, here is our items, and then just like leaving it at that. But with Patagonia, they actually go as far as saying, do you really need this? Don't buy it.
Yeah, don't buy
Okay.
it if you don't need
like
it.
Yeah.
They had a discouraging advertisement campaign, which was really, really cool.
That's so
to see.
smart, though. I bet people were like, "Oh," and then people started talking about it, and then
Yeah,
more people
it's-
bought it.
But it's not about buying it though, as well. Like
Mhm.
it's they genuinely have that concern where it's just like, don't be an over consumer if you don't
Yep.
need to. But
Yeah.
yeah, I just thought that like the only comparable thing to Comme advertising that I've seen is with Patagonia.
I never
Yeah.
really
Agreed.
That's a great. Yeah, that was amazing.
Okay, yeah. So I feel like I should probably start jumping into Junior stuff then, because
Yeah, go ahead.
I've just been like not dodging, but just going off on some other stuff where you guys have all been going off with stuff. So yeah.
Here we
So
go.
I'm talking
Oh,
about
you man.
Junior Watanabe today. So for those of you who don't know who Junior Watanabe is, he graduated from Bunka, or was at least at Bunka for some time, which is one of the most prestigious Japanese fashion schools that there is. Basically, every single large designer that went to a fashion school in Japan most likely came from Bunka. You have everyone from Nigo to Jun Takahashi graduating from Bunka, or at least taking courses at Bunka and then dropping out. So what Ray usually does is she actually handpicks a lot of designers that she's impressed with at Bunka. So they're taking a lot of the upcoming and I guess like people that are standout amongst those classes. And Ray usually is hiring them for smaller internship style businesses. So Junior Watanabe started off as a patchwork creator. I guess he was doing patterning and design. So he was just working at the company's helm for a little bit doing that. But as he began to impress even further, he got promoted to the head creative director of the Tricot line. And then from there, he was doing the En Plus line for a small period of time before he expanded onto Junior Watanabe as his own label. So a lot of Junior Watanabe's work is very separate from what Comme is as a whole. And I think the most impressive thing that I have to say about what Ray does is she allows everybody to just have their own freedom and creative process where they have no correlation to the brand whatsoever. And the design aspects can be completely different. Well, you can show a Comme season that's very muted and very dark and down to earth, whereas you have a Junior season that's popping in color and you have a lot of just vibrancy throughout. So the one quote that I wanted to talk about was, Kawakubo elaborated on your philosophy and explained that Junior Watanabe is part of such a necessary company expansion policy. collaborations have no meaning if 1 + 1 does not equal much more than 2. So when saying that, I feel as if Ray is trying to explain how if 1 + 1 does not equal much more than 2, it just means that there's no point in merging one designer with another designer if it doesn't equal anything outside of that. And if you just have one collection that spins off of it, there's no point in hiring Junia to do a collaboration. And that's why you don't see a lot of Comme des Garçons collaborative efforts, because it's not something that's worth doing if it's not something that's going to provide the brand with more in the future. So that's why they do a company expansion policy as opposed to a traditional collaborative year by year, like a Dior Stussy or a Dior Leaks type of
Travis
event.
Helmet Lang.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was
So,
different. Travis Scott Helmet Lang.
That
Are we going to
hurts.
see that in reoccurring
he
seasons?
said different.
That hurts. That
Yeah.
hurts.
But there's no doubt for sure that Junya Watanabe's had a large influence on the fashion industry as a whole, because I mean, with the past trends that we've seen throughout the years, it's just obvious that his work has placed a lot of influence on our community as a whole and just allowed it to grow and expand outside of what it originally was. He started off mainly doing women's wear, but now I think it's pretty obvious to see that Junya Watanabe's menswear work shines, and he really gets a lot of attention through menswear, and their sales in the menswear collections are actually a lot higher than their women's wear used to be. But I think that one of the first things that I can touch on is the Poem collection. Even though it's a very generic Junya Watanabe collection, that was something that was really innovative in a sense where, again, it was free expression. For those who hadn't heard this before, it wasn't Junya that did all the poems for the jackets. It was each of the atelier staff that were chosen to individually write a poem about how they feel towards something. So it wasn't.
That's so cool.
It wasn't entirely anything to do with Junya Watanabe's work itself. It was just an entirety of the staff creating what they felt they wanted to build off of. So that's why all the poems have different topics. There's poems about love. There's poems about the environment. It's just all free expression as to how you feel about someone or something. That was the only general baseline for the poem collection.
Yeah, and that makes so much sense for Comme, because just like how she gives power to the pattern makers, like there's just so much free expression, and starting with abstraction and bringing that to life. And I feel like giving the atelier staff to kind of show that they're part of the brand was really cool.
Yeah. The only thing that I would have liked to have seen is if somewhere on the inside garment tag or even on the jacket itself, it would have put an author quote on there. I just would have liked to have seen the smaller creators get credit for the work as a whole, because I think that, again, a lot of the credit goes to Junya Watanabe as a whole, whereas there is smaller creators that either wrote the poems or did other work on the jacket as well. So I would have liked to have seen that. But otherwise, yeah, the collection itself, as in screen printing graphics on things that are more than just t-shirts, I think and hoodies, obviously, because those are the two most common things: t-shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, etc. But like printing on tailored garments, on jeans, on trousers, it's become more and more popular. And I think that was one of the first things that innovated that. So it was really cool to see. And I know there's a lot of rips on Junya Watanabe start type items now. I've literally seen a pair of cutoff shorts the other day that had the Junya poems on them from some brand. I think it's called something like, it's like I Don't Smoke or something, but the whole brand's based around the Margiela logo.
Didn't Carson make a parody of them about the jeans?
I don't know. It's bad though, but yeah, it's obvious when you make it to that point where you're creating things and people are ripping it off. You know you've done something right. If you want to look at it that way, you've done something so successful that people want to replicate what you do or copy what you do completely. So that would probably be the first Junya Watanabe collection I touch on. From there, I think another thing that we can all say has created a large splash in the fashion community, and it took a little bit longer than expected to reach a point where it's gotten popular, but the 2006 Porter collection was also really huge because it was something that just drew a lot of technicality and more, I guess, like outdoorsy hiking aesthetic. So that stuff has gotten extremely popular now, and that's why the Porter collections have obviously gone up in value. So yeah, I think that technical fabric and just tactical style has gone up a lot. over the past couple of years, and I think a lot of it started with inspiration from the 2006 Porter collection, where they just stemmed off of multi-functional pockets and just more so function in combination with fashion.
Somebody come watermelon. Didn't he do like a collection with just a bunch of like single word lines on it?
Yeah,
Like,
so they had the hamster.
Some of them are so bad.
They have the peanut butter button up.
Oh,
They have the
No.
watermelon pants, and then
He
they
must
have
have been
the
hungry.
German dog pants. German dog one was 2 words though. Yeah.
Oh, stepping out of the comfort
There's
zone.
different interpretation behind items like those. I think that it's not as lazy as what people would like to interpret it as.
Yeah.
But there's just, it's kind of just, I think, a mockery of what fashions come to. And then at some point you just realize that you have such a big cult following behind your brand itself that you want to test the limits almost and see just like what you're able to sell. And the same thing with Supreme is as well. I don't understand
Literally what
philosophy.
Vetements is.
Sorry, what is it?
Literally what Vetements is.
Yeah, I mean, Vetements printed a shirt that said something about unicorns on it or something like that.
And what's funny though is the fact that Comme des Garçons literally did a Vetements collaboration.
Did they?
Wait,
yes,
really?
on jumpers.
I don't remember that.
Yes, bro. Let me find it.
Demna era?
Yeah.
Was it Dem? Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, dude. It was like
I mean, nothing surprising
2016.
me at this point, but
It was kind of like, and it was like one of the weirdest looking collabs because you wouldn't even expect it to be a Vetements and Comme des Garçons. It was literally just not even patterned. It was more or less, what would that be called? They just made like a certain image on a wool, like a woven jacket, like a woven sweater.
Oh yeah, okay.
And they also did a I believe it was a button-up shirt. So I believe it was a Comme des Garçons shirt, or it was a Homme de, probably something like that.
No, it was a collaboration with Homme de.
pause
I
real
think
quick.
so.
Yo, someone's trying to flame us in the comments. Imagine being this nerdy, you go on live and talk about this. What weirdos, bro? Come on.
Look at his
Oh
profile.
yeah, here we go.
We are all making money off of fashion. That's the thing, though. Like,
Hey, bro,
Yeah.
I'll really kiss you through this. Don't play with me. Anyways,
Homie,
So,
you're
yeah.
here watching, so you're watching.
you're in the stream, so
what a nerd. That's
What a
crazy.
nerd. Imagine
You really
being so
came here to
nerdy.
learn?
Imagine being so nerdy that you sit here in the live stream and watch us talk about fashion. Come on.
Imagine not
Honestly,
going.
I just thought it was
Imagine
funny.
just not being
Yeah,
at
I'm just
school and
kidding.
still trying to learn. Come on, bro.
Okay, so like, aside from flaming this dude, there's
He said,
There's
but I respect the
literally-
grind. No, you don't.
man for real though. Oh, it's just a regular Comme des Garçons collaboration with Vetements. So yeah,
Oh, wow.
so this is like
I wasn't
one
aware
of
of
the
it at
more-
all.
yeah, this is like one of the more iconic ones, which is literally just a basic, like
Yeah, like stripe
the
button.
same material that it would always be, but it's like 10 times bigger.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Which I thought was
So-
like, which I thought was hilarious because that's like, what's funny is the parallel between Demna and Ray is the fact that they both make anti-fashion. And,
Dude, they are
but-
flaming him in the comments. I'm sorry. It's so
People are
funny.
blaming this dude now.
Yeah,
didn't
he
want
said,
to spend time
he
talking
said,
about that.
whoa, look at the
Give him
profile
attention, but I
photo.
thought it was
Rick
funny.
boy. Damn, getting on us now. Ha ha ha.
Uh-oh.
Bye, Oliver. You can leave. Went 0 to 100 real quick. Laughing emojis. Who has the audacity to even say that? Wow. Boys got our back.
Let's
Bruh,
move on.
get on his head.
Honest action voice going off in the chat.
Dude.
Oh
These are one of
my
the more
God.
popular pieces.
Looks like
Yeah,
some
I don't
Marvel.
remember seeing any of that, and I honestly don't think I've seen it anywhere. I'm surprised I
That is
haven't
so
seen the
ugly.
influencer and the Axe one because I just
Or
feel
my-
like that could be an e-boy fit right there.
Yeah, for
That's
real.
facts.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, Demna is more, or not Demna, but Vetements itself is more or less what's become like the high fashion e-boy, I guess.
Yeah, that's
wait,
true.
Yeah,
I
I
got a
mean,
bit of
I guess
there is a lot of the Demna era stuff's actually pretty impressive though. It's not just graphic stuff. Either way,
this
I'm
was the
straying off track. I'm
LGBTQ
talking about
collab.
Vetements.
He's very, very talented. Clearly, if you see his like CSM graduate collection,
Yes, that was
Right.
outstanding.
Yeah.
but
I think
feel like-
that
I feel like a lot
Sorry.
of people don't respect him as much just because of
no, but the Demna himself, I think I've talked about this before. I'm not sure whether I talked about it on Honest Faction or not, but Demna is by far, hands down, the best marketer in the game.
Oh,
there's nobody
without
else
a
that's
doubt.
better at marketing.
We did talk about that.
He does
Without a
stuff
doubt.
that nobody else thinks about doing. How do you get a brand like Balenciaga to show up on global news, like CTV News, talk about your brand? Like it's just something
Like
that
that
doesn't
happened?
happen. Yeah, because
Yeah.
people were making a meme out of the Balenciaga double shirt. Like
Oh,
the
I
shirt.
remember that.
Yeah, but that's the point of it. Every single season, Demna does something controversial, not to the point of where it's negatively controversial, but just something that's almost a meme, to the point of where it explodes beyond what the fashion community is.
The
So
McDonald's
then
collection.
it brings in new buyers.
Yeah.
That piece
That's
isn't
so
meant
smart.
to sell. Do you see
Yeah.
that piece? It never sells out. The shirt never sold out. He had a bunch of other pieces that were what other stuff did he have that was really stupid too? I'm sure there's a bunch I forget. There's a couple other meme pieces that I always remember.
I mean,
Was
like,
Oh, he had that
Balenciaga-
one, also the unicorns. Those sold out. The ones with the unicorns sold out.
Yeah,
The
I mean,
one, he had a Lamborghini one.
Was
As well.
Balenciaga the brand that had the model walking down with a giant inflatable pool around their neck?
I don't
I
think
seem to
so.
remember
I
that.
don't know.
But yeah, they always do stuff like that. Where even Vetmos with like I guess that wasn't Demna era Vetmos, but like Balenciaga always does political stuff as well. Like even with the Bernie Sanders campaign logo that's been twisted into the Balenciaga campaign logo. Those are things that get talked about outside of the fashion community. So by creating this marketability that you're doing something outside of what just traditional advertising is, and you're almost using like meme culture to create a like more customer base. It's brilliant, and people don't give enough credit to it. They just make fun of the fact
That's
that
called
he does
guerrilla
stupid
marketing.
stuff. He does real marketing. That real marketing is stuff that you don't think is marketing. If it comes across as an advertisement, it's probably not a good advertisement. That's the way that it should be. You shouldn't have to be like, oh, that was a good ad. No, it's not a good advertisement. If you realize it's an advertisement, you should just either want the product or you don't even realize they're selling something to you.
That's true.
Yeah.
The whole point is to deceive you. So
yeah.
Sometimes
The whole point with Denma though is that my bad.
No, go ahead.
Now the whole point with Denma is he wants to evoke an emotion other than like, oh wow, this is a great piece. Like, no, he wants to be like, yo, what the fuck is that?
what
He
is
wants
that?
you to look at it. He wants you to go to the stores that are selling his pieces and look at it to see how good it actually is. Because
he wants you to look at that and then buy other stuff because you're there.
Yes,
you like
that's
stuff.
true.
That piece isn't
like
meant
the
to
triple
sell.
S.
He draws you into the website, and then from there, all the other pieces on the website sell because you're on the website and you say, wow, I really like this. I really like this. You find out about the brand through this one piece. That's what it's for. That's the same reason why they did the Tyrex sneakers this year. They're the Tyrex, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're the ones that look like the Slazenger. I don't think I said that wrong, but the Slazenger sneakers that like every single grade 4 kid had when they were like, it's like the knockoff Skechers on
like
those.
water shoes.
Yeah, like no. They had the let me see if I can find them. The Slazenger ones. No, never mind. I don't have my computer.
Yeah, Jackson, what were you gonna say?
They're the basically just like some Walmart shoes, but they just put the Balenciaga logo on them. And then I think Fashion Archive even talked about it and said like, what is up with like the Balenciaga Tyrex sneakers? Like people are hating on it. And then he had the whole discussion and he talked about the marketability of it. And it's genius. It's so genius.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was going to say, by the way. So you're good.
Oh.
Wait, Alex, did you have more about Junior?
I can go off on a little bit more. Yeah, I have a couple more things.
Just a little. Yeah.
This was the pool that I was talking about.
So, sorry I got sidetracked. I always get, I'm always
that's an entire pool.
Yeah, it's literally an entire inflatable pool around their neck at Paris
That's
Fashion, or London Fashion Week.
We just went off on some Demna Balenciaga marketing rant. But anyway, I guess the last thing that I'd want to talk about with Junior Watanabe is the fact that they're very curated, not just to like a younger style, but they curate purposefully to an older and more mature person. And that can be seen with the runway casting as well. They don't have younger models. They actually have 40 to 60-year-old men that do their runway walks for them every single season, in and out. It's kind of funny to see, but it's different. And that's also, again, a marketability aspect because you're seeing someone that's more mature. And you could say, I appreciate this piece because I can see the longevity in it, because you see the fact that there's older men in this and they look fantastic. So you say, this is something I can see myself wearing, not just for now, but it's a long-term fashion investment where you're hopefully being a consumer that's mindful of what you're buying and intentionally knowing that you're going to get either wear out of it or sell it at some point, and it's not going to end up in a landfill somewhere.
Yeah. I don't wait. Which collection was it where the runway was like a blue spiral kind of? And
with Junia?
No, I'm talking. Oh shit, I'm talking about.
Oh, you're talking about Balenciaga. That was their most recent one. So that was the that was, I think, spring summer 2020 or fall winter 2019. Yeah. But either way, it was based around the fact that was supposed to look like a political office.
Yeah, it looked like they were all security guards or something. But
yeah,
never mind. I totally got that mixed up.
No, you're good. I'd go off on.
Yeah, it was the spring summer 2020.
Yeah,
but yeah. Just the casting's really interesting to me because they don't pick people that are per se beautiful by the societal standards of what men are supposed to look up to, or the societal standards of what men have like idolized. Like if you look at like brands like I'm gonna use Armani as an example, they pick people that are absolutely like standardized as a beauty standard. I think that was terrible wording, but you have to make someone perfect for their advertisements every single time. It's a guy that comes out of a pool and he's dripping and he has a perfect jawline and teeth lined up in a six pack. And there's no point in advertising like that because you're only targeting such a small demographic. If you're targeting people that look like you're more likely to end up getting sales. Uncorrelated, again, I'm going to go off on a smaller tangent, but Depop works as a selling site because it's average people selling items that look good on them. It's true. It wouldn't work otherwise. It's not models that are selling stuff on Depop. It's people that are wearing stuff and you say, hey, that looks good on them. I probably have a similar build. I'm going to buy it. That's why Depop works. So it's the same thing with your runway casting. If you're going to pick someone that looks like you as opposed to someone that you'll never end up becoming, or you're like not looking like at the moment, it's harder to get sales. Yeah, it might look good on them and you're deceiving them at that point, though. You're not saying this is the reality of how it looks, which is really not honorable, but it's really respectable to see them do it.
I feel the reason that they use those like perfect tens of models though is for the reason that you're like, oh, they look that good, I want to look that good. So it's supposed to be like a deceiving thing.
But society swung around to the point though where it's like you don't like that stuff gets hated at this point because there's nobody that looks like that, and the standards have changed to the point of where it's saying it's not okay to make people look exactly like what runway models do, and not everyone looks exactly like runway models. Victoria's Secret got canceled for a reason. It was the largest show out there, and they refused to like make less generic casting and create more expansion.
Their CEO literally said, like, my brand is a fantasy. If you don't like that fantasy, like, it's not for you.
Well, yeah, but then at that point, you're targeting such a small demographic, and that's why they got canceled. I don't think he realized the fact that the internet is so powerful at this point that
I hate cancel culture. I hate it so much.
It's not even cancel culture, but just to the point of where it's like, if you're not willing to adapt to what consumers want, you're going to get kicked out of the industry. There's too much competition.
It's true. Yeah. It's like, you can't not be vocal now because not only are we in a global pandemic, we have to keep in contact with our consumers. And the fact is that even if like you're on the smallest basis, you're going to start engaging with your customers way more now. Like we see Show Studio talking to designers. We had a fucking interview from Rick Owens in Mykonos. Or he was in Italy? I think he was in Venice. I think Tyrone's in Mykonos. But unrelated to that. Dude, we had, oh my God, who else? We had Jacques Mousse.
That was a great interview.
That was a great interview. Beautiful human being. What a
that collection for the women's collection was outstanding. I was disappointed in the men's though.
Wow. So good. And
I thought
with oh my God, what's his name? Whatever. It's irrelevant at this point. But literally, we have to start realizing that not only are we in a more essential needs like moment in time, this is a very great time for you to start guerrilla marketing, following in Denver's footsteps. Back to that. And just starting to really find new ways to market yourself as a human being rather than a god to all your consumers, because that's one way that you can get so much closer and get so much more sales. Like, I think that's what some like people forget about, because you can't not just be like that god on that pedestal.
It's
It
true.
comes from actual people with actual lives, actual families, and I think that's what people forget.
Only the highest of luxury brands are the people that are doing that type of marketing now, where they're still just like creating that pedestal, and I still think that's gonna fade.
Yeah, it's completely like it's deceit. Like,
Yeah.
it's not true.
That's true.
All right, am I up?
You are.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
go for it, Jackson. Sorry, man, I went off on way too long, I think.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
good.
my bad.
No, it's
So,
good.
rather than breaking down a specific line of CDG, I'm basically just going to sort of wrap up Ray's sort of thought process and the design principles that she goes by. And for my references, I'm going to be using a book that I won't stop ever talking about. Can't even see the title, but it's Ray Kawakubo, Art of the In-Between. And it's a book that accompanied an art exhibition that showed about 140 Comme pieces. And rather than making it sort of a retrospective, like a lot of designers do, which just kind of is like a flashback, she decided to organize it thematically. So the whole theme of this, hence the name Art of the In-Between, is sort of the empty space between two different themes or things. So every single theme within this book has a word, a slash, and then another. So it's fashion / anti-fashion. And the whole thing that she really loves to focus on with that is the kind of value of the empty space between those two things and the ambiguity that is there. And she calls it interstitiality, which is a long word that means pretty much just empty space. There are a lot of really deep themes, but some of them are design / not design, then / now, self / other, object and subject, and then the most important one to me, which is close and not close. And I have a quote with her that says, "I like to work with space and emptiness." So speaking on that empty space theme, Ray really thinks of holes and distressing in garments as a opening that gives the fabric another dimension rather than just holes or wear or things like that. And she really values oversized and loose fitting clothes because it creates sort of a space between the garment and the body that can be really left for interpretation. And that can also really distort the way the body looks and make people look almost not human in a lot of her runways. She even said that, okay, I have a picture of that sweater that Jacob showed. Gotta find that. Okay, right here. She said to make this sweater, they literally took bolts out of the knitting and sewing machines to purposely put like mistakes in the garment.
Oh,
Wow.
that's crazy. So it was a natural
No way.
process through using machinery.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I had no idea.
The machines that are making fabrics are more and more making uniform, flawless textures. I like it when something is off, not perfect. Hand weaving is the best way to achieve this, but since that isn't always possible, we loosen a screw of the machines here and there so that they can't do exactly what they're supposed to do.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's so
I
smart.
had no clue. That's
But,
amazing.
yeah. That really
Wow.
plays into the whole thing, how mistakes can be really beautiful, which leads
Yeah.
me to
Happy accidents.
one of the other themes that are within all of her work is wabi sabi, which is pretty much
Yeah, I can Stoogie, bro. It's the same shit. Oh, I
Yeah.
know that.
so like a Japanese aesthetic that places a lot of value on asymmetry, imperfectness, wear, kind of traditionally ugly things. So she really thinks that showing the construction and the process and the way that clothes can break down in kind of imperfections is really important. And I really love it because a lot of fashion throughout time is very based on being perfect, not showing any flaws, like we just said about the advertisements. I have another picture that shows kind of the wabi sabi within her pieces. As you can see around the neckline, very
So
imperfect,
good.
very symmetrical. Holes over here, which plays into the last theme also. But yeah, I just really think it's amazing when people value imperfect things. Not everything's perfect. I feel like the world shows too much perfectness. And yeah, it's really beautiful that she values sort of ugliness in a way.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite themes throughout this whole thing was clothes versus not clothes. So in some of her work, Ray really doesn't care at all about functionality or wearability. She says like the clothes are more treated like a performance or a sculptural art piece. And this allows her to always create something new, like we said. She really distorts the body in ways that have never been done before. And she always manages to do this constantly, never ceases to amaze. Here is another image of how she just constantly sort of distorts the body and really doesn't care if you can wear this every single day, but she really thinks that as long as she thinks it's beautiful and that some people think it's beautiful, then it's worth making. And like we said before, all the other lines kind of fund what she wants to do. So like CDG Play, obviously, we don't love it. People do. People buy it. Funds this type of stuff. That was, these pictures were from 2015 and 2016.
You just dissected your entire rant.
Stick around and wait for my CDG Play rant at the end, guys.
But everything, like I said, everything is very, very personal for Ray. She says she doesn't take any inspiration from the outside world or current events, such as she did a collection after 9/11, I believe, that was very sort of controversial, and people were trying to say that she was kind of doing social commentary with it. But at least from her own words, she says that really everything is from the inside, and that really it's just about what's going on with her, not really influenced by anything on the outside. And like I said, I think that leads to it being misinterpreted a lot. And she even says herself, like, she doesn't want to make anything that everybody's gonna like, because there's a lot more value in something that a certain group of people are gonna hate and a certain group of people are gonna like. And it really creates space for conversation and things like that. And I think that's super important.
That was a perfect way of putting it. Disagreeability creates conversationalism, and that creates consumerism. So that's perfect.
I feel like that's also why she doesn't sort of usually break down her work very detailed. Like you said, she gives like one-liners.
Yeah.
That leaves a lot of room for interpretation. And all this book is pretty much just one-liners. Like the whole book is literally just images with quotes. Images, quotes, like short quotes like this. So yeah, I love that. And she really leaves room for interpretation. And even when it is misinterpreted, there's a lot of value in that.
Yeah. And when for like her doing that just kind of leaves all the garments, like you can just take it in like rawly, like how you see these clothes and how you interpret them and understand them is exactly how you will do it. If she adds any like review to the runway or anything like that, then you're kind of, I don't know what the word is, you're like influenced in a way to understand the garments. But if she gives nothing, then you just really understand the raw art form from how you see it. Like the beauty's in the eye of the beholder that way.
Well, a lot of consumerism is based off of liking the backstory behind something. But if you're consuming something purely for the fact that you enjoy the way the piece is crafted because there's no backstory to it, it just shows, again, the capability of a designer.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just going to read off a few more quotes and then show you guys some more images. And then I have another theme that I want to talk about. But this plays into the whole thing, how she just does things from herself and is not a social commenter. She said this was based on her 2015 show that I just showed you guys. She said the show had nothing to do with politics or wars. It's about something deeper, some horror solidly anchored in me, in us. So she really just speaks to the sort of emotions that everybody has. She knows that she has these emotions. She's generally known as a very angry person. And she knows that everybody has anger in them. And a lot of her collections are a way of sort of communicating those emotions. She said, I'm not making any statements. It's for others to interpret what I create. I only want to continue creating work that is intrinsically strong. It is not intended to spur change in society or the world. I have no agenda. Creativity is simply a central aspect of my life. So that was from 2000. There's just so many good quotes in here. Like she drops bombs, I swear.
Ray is so cool. I love Ray.
And then I have some more things that are not clothes. Like these are literally just like performance art. Like I find that
That's so cool.
Wow.
That's so cool.
This is kind of like a bridal gown, but like super distorted in a way.
Yeah, that's like stripped down right to the bone at that point and just taken back up.
Okay, and then the final theme that I wanted to talk about was male versus female. So Comme has really always been about blurring the lines between the masculine and the feminine. She really treats people just like they are humans, and she thinks that the energy within a human is really the most important thing rather than being male or female, which is why she's constantly sort of dressing women in men's clothes and men's in women's clothes. I put that in quotes because who really says what's for men and what's for women?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Quote from her, she said, "Spiritually, there are no more differences between men and women. What's important is being human." So that kind of sums up what I just said. She really just gives a huge middle finger to gender norms. She's always just literally like since the beginning in like the 70s and 80s, really not cared about what people traditionally say is for men and what's for women. And I think that's really great. I just love when a designer goes against what's traditionally kind of known as what's normal.
I don't think Ray gives a fuck about what anyone says. She just does whatever she wants. And that is the coolest thing. That is so cool.
Dude, I have the coolest picture of Ray in my phone somewhere. It's just literally her under a shaded building, drinking something, with her sunglasses on, looking mean as fuck. Like, it's the greatest picture I think I've ever seen.
Well, she's been designing for almost 50 years. Like, she's literally just seen every phase of what fashion's gone through and hasn't really changed her or she's changed her style in which she's designed clothes, but the general idea behind Comme being an expression and free line that doesn't have anything to do with the way that society and trends move has not changed over 50 years, and that's more than admirable.
That's really hard to do. That's really
design
hard to
language
do.
has been around for 50 years.
Yeah. Well, not just the brand's been around 50 years. She's been the head designer for 50 years.
Exactly.
Same thing with
And
Yoda.
I did see. I also did see in the comments maybe like a couple minutes ago, Ruben, what's up, dog? He mentioned that her current husband is the CEO.
Yeah, Jaffe, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, he's the CEO of what?
He's the CEO. Oh, my bad. There's a garbage truck.
Adrian Jaffe is the president and CFO.
Garçons.
He's the CFO.
Oh.
Yeah.
So was he previously tied
CFO.
to the brand beforehand, or did she like marry him and then he ended up getting the spot afterwards? Do you know?
I'm honestly not sure.
If anyone knows that, I'd be interested in knowing. So drop that down.
Too.
It really doesn't surprise me that her husband is her business partner, because one of the things she always talks about is being a business woman as well as a designer, and that she I think there's a quote in here that says she's just a professional working in fashion.
Yeah. No, she's taken it more so like a business than any other person that you can see.
Definitely.
Okay, and I just want to show you guys, when I say there are quotes in this book, I literally, like, you can get lost.
Oh, wow.
Holy.
These are all
I really like the way that her English comes too. It's more of a raw expression, and because of the fact that not broken, but it's more so like just not like fluent English. It just comes off as very direct and like
it's cut and dry.
Around
name is Yoji to me.
Super blunt.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was looking to say. Yoji's the exact same way. You're right. Both of them come off in a very just straightforward and not a dodgy manner at all. They're
Yoji is such a wholesome old man.
Yes. Have you seen the video of him surfing?
What?
Have you seen the video of him surfing?
No.
Yeah, there's I think maybe it's Lake Vienna or your fashion archive. I'm not sure, but either just look up the video of Yoji surfing. Yeah, it's crazy, and it's always old too. Like not just like young Yoji surfing. No, it's old Yoji on the board.
Oh, Cole Slater says he's got to go to work. He did.
See you, Cole. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, man. Get out there, share some more. You're knowledgeable in what you're doing.
Yeah. But yeah, the rest of this book has just some good resources, like a timeline of her career, and it also has a list of every single mainline collection ever.
Oh wow!
yeah, if you want to know like what a collection's called or when it's from, literally just a list right here.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
Yeah, if you want, like, if any of you guys out there who are watching want to learn about Comme and get a really good introduction, like before reading this, I really didn't have any prior knowledge to what actually goes on behind the scenes and who Ray is as a person. And this really just, I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of it now. So yeah, I'd really recommend this book as a reference for anything.
I have these for sale, so if you're interested
We-
in purchasing one
Oh,
of
you
the,
do?
Christian and I both have
Shoot a
stock in
DM,
those
bro.
books. So
Yeah,
hit us
top
both up in the
top
DMs if you're
You
interested.
need
in purchasing.
Margiela, you need Virgil Abloh, CDG. What's the other one? We have one more.
Yeah, Virgil
Chanel books
Abloh.
as well.
What'd you say?
We have the
Say
Chanel
Virgil
books. as well.
Abloh?
Oh, Chanel books. Yeah, we have the Virgil Abloh MCA books if you want. Shoot a DM.
Yeah, that was
So, yeah,
an accidental
the Comme-
marketing.
The Comme Art of In Between book, we both have those. So yeah, hit us up if you are interested in learning more about Comme and want to buy one of those.
Yes,
Little shameless plug.
that was accidental.
Okay,
Shameless plug.
Alex, I assume you're gonna
Your
go on a
rant.
rant now. And I really
Yeah.
want to start it off with a comment from Ruben where he says, if we don't buy Come from DSM or anywhere else where the label gets money, are we really supporting the brand more than someone who buys the Heart shoes?
That's what I'm talking about. Okay.
So
Perfect intro into my little rant that I'm about to go off of.
here
For
we go.
everybody that hates on your local high schoolers that wear
Seatbelt.
CDG Play Converse, if you're not buying any type of CDG and you're just waiting to buy mainline pieces, that's respectable. But at the same time, the person that's wearing CDG Play is doing more for the company than what you are. By not purchasing anything from the company,
I'll be right
you're
back.
not allowing the company to grow in any sense. Jackson, if you have CDG Plays, you better.
Oh my God, he's getting his brothers, I think. Oh,
Buying a secondhand Comme is supporting the label itself if you're talking about it, but you're not funding the brand if you're not buying any of the newer pieces. It's the same thing with saying you support Raph Simmons because you're buying Raph Bombers and you're buying Virginia Creeper stuff that looks like the little tingy things from Diary of a Wimpy Kid at this point because they're all.
oh my God.
But yeah, you're not doing anything for the brand if you're buying secondhand. You're not supporting the brand. If you're not buying into New Season Raph, you're not buying into Raph as a whole. You're not helping the
Oh
investment.
shit!
Thank you, Jackson. Jackson has
Oh.
supported probably 100. What do they go for?
They're my dads.
140.
So your dads?
Yeah,
No, those
They
aren't
do
ones.
like
Aren't they
140,
like
right?
retail's like 200 on them, isn't it? Like
For
220.
us in Canadian, but what's it for you guys?
It's like
I think like
110.
120.
Yeah, so Jackson's dad has supported Comme des Garçons more than a majority of what I'm assuming our audience has supported Comme. So thank you to
Man,
Jackson's
Jackson's dad is just
for
a G.
supporting Ray
Let's get a round of
Kowski.
applause for Jackson's dad, though. Fucking straight up.
All I'm trying to say is that if you're supporting a brand by buying secondhand pieces from them and talking about them, that's great and all. I mean, that's majority of what I do. But I'm also supporting brands by buying newer pieces if I really appreciate a designer and I want to see more of their work coming out. The brands and labels that you love now aren't going to be around 10 years from now if you're not supporting them by buying into their stuff. So if you're not buying into CDG Play, that's fine, but you can hate on it all you want, but the reality of it is you should be encouraging people to buy CDG Play if you like CDG Homme Plus, because that's allowing CDG Homme Plus to continue as a line. So stop making fun of people that wear CDG Play and start encouraging them to buy more. Thank you. That is all.
I mean,
I'm gonna
they
continue
know.
to make fun of them. I don't care. It's
I
so
like.
bad.
I really love the fact that after you said that, it just kind of came off as "Stop bullying me."
Yeah, well, it's
not cool, man.
Or I guess I had one CDG Play shirt because I thrifted it at a Plato's Closet for $8.
Oh my God,
Oh.
so did I. Literally. Oh my God.
But,
Where did I even get it? I think I thrifted it somewhere in San Francisco, dude. Oh, I think it was Wasteland. I got it for like $20.
Wasteland's actually pretty impressive. I want to go, but
They have a lot of fake shit there sometimes, but
yeah, they don't have a good authentication process. But either way, though, all I'm trying to say is buy into Comme, buy into Raph. Those are two brands that I probably say the most that I'd want to see people buying into just because of or even Undercover. But if you love those brands and you want to see more from them, you're not being a supporter by buying secondhand. It's great for the world. It's great for the environment. Yes, which is fantastic. But if you need to be supporting a brand in any sort of sense, if you're not buying, at least just be promoting people or not putting people down that are wearing stuff from the brand. that are buying it new because they're allowing the brand to grow. So even if you're not buying, at least encourage, or not discourage people is all I'm trying to say. Don't discourage people from buying it.
Did you guys see? I think it was Takahashi Murakami, how he's saying like he's gonna go bankrupt.
Yeah.
Do you see that?
Oh,
That's
Takashi
crazy.
Murakami? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going bankrupt because
just draw some flowers and stuff.
I saw those comments.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's like one of my favorite like contemporary artists of like the 2010s and on.
I saw his exhibition that was at MCA. It was called like The Octopus Eats Its Own Hand or something like that.
Yeah.
It was so great, bro. Like, I mean, not all of it was like my favorite from like an artistic perspective, but they literally had like the original like Kanye album art from Graduation.
Yeah, well, Murakami's a lot more than a clothing designer, guys. Like, he doesn't just do the Uniqlo collab. He does so much other stuff.
But,
come on, like he's an artist. He's not just a clothing designer. So support your artists like Murakami by buying not just clothing, but by buying artwork as well.
Yeah.
And if you're
please, I know you guys have the money, just buy something. Like,
he does more than the flowers too. Like he does.
He's so much more than just that. Yeah,
it goes in way more. Like there's his job line of these like this thing. This
all of the graduation, the graduation cover. The what other covers did he do? Sorry, I'm not.
Graduation.
He
did.
He did KSG. I think the original. He'll get paid for that Kanye, the Kanye and Kid Cudi show that's coming out because those are the original Murakami figures. So
he also did the. He directed and animated the Billie Eilish music video.
Oh really?
Yeah, also all that Billie Eilish stuff.
Yeah, dude.
Really?
They're like super tight now. Like.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Kanye right now, but like he did some great stuff with Murakami.
Yeah, he definitely put Murakami on the map. Like, not even gonna lie, like Murakami already had like a cult following, but after graduation, he sold so many pieces, and he showed in so many places.
Yeah, for sure. That was just a platform to allow him to expand. And again, it's like marketing, but you're not marketing to the demographic that you're originally catering to. Exactly. Now you're not catering to like music or art fans. You're catering to Kanye fans and fans of music. And it continues to grow from that side of that.
Yeah.
I thought there was like a I guess not. That I'm just not looking hard enough. But there is something in here about or one of these. I think it might be the Hype Beast one. I don't want to open this yet, but like I'm pretty sure it was like I read it online because somebody had it just like scanned already. But he was mentioning something about Kanye and his upbringing with him and how he pretty much just like really wanted something different in that era. Because like for one, we always seem to jump to Kanye, but like he really did do a lot for not only the fashion community, but like, like complete credit to him. Dude really he even said it. Cam brought pink to just masculinity.
Yeah.
And Kanye gave it the speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pink polos.
Fuck yeah.
Somebody said, did school get pushed back for you guys? Also, did you guys pick up any back to school pieces? For me, I am starting online school on August 24th. And then I don't know when I'm going back to actual school. So it's really just like undetermined yet. And first, I haven't gotten any back to school pieces because I'm not going back to school. But I have like a little pickups, like favorites video coming out in the next couple weeks. So.
Hell yeah, bro. I think that it was released yesterday. I'm going back 5 days a week. I just have to wear a mask.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm the same thing. We're going to be back to full. If you guys are concerned about us, though, Canada is a lot better. I think we had 70 cases like in the past few days, like out of millions of people in our local area. So
in my little like area, like I don't even know what it's called. We haven't had a new case in 8 days now, so we're chilling.
Yeah.
And for pickups, it's not back to school pickups. It's just pickups. There's so many. Like, You can just see that rack. It is
Oh,
full.
wow.
Yeah. In
Actually,
my
hold on.
state,
I gotta bring out the Cindy.
uh-oh. In my state,
Shout out
Illinois,
to
they
Jackson
think
for getting these over to us. Me and
Least-
Christian and I were looking at getting a pair of these, so I found them at a really good price. There's 2 left. I swung 1 pair over to Christian, and Christian managed to get the size 4. I got
So
a size 3.
dope.
and I took
Yeah.
a fit pick in them, and you guys ate that shit up.
Yeah, I went crazy on that Fitbit.
No, these are insane. Like these are so dope.
Mhm.
They're huge though. Like
They
cut
are.
is
Oh my god.
massive.
They're
Even-
so
even
wide.
the-
This is my hand, bro.
I usually wear
You got decent
31.
hands.
I usually wear 31, and in the 32, I had to like hike them up to like my belly button, like above
Yeah.
my belly button, and like hold them up for the picture.
Oh
And
my
he-
god.
They'll be up on my grill tonight if you guys are trying to call.
Same
They're
with
so
club.
comfortable though. I like
Thank
literally
you.
stared at them without touching them because I was too scared.
No, you're
Okay,
Oh,
good.
they're crazy.
I don't think I'm going back to school. I'm considering. I just don't know in what. I'm in a point in my life where I don't even really care for school. It's not something that I idealize.
Mhm.
But as far as pickups, I guess this counts as a current pickup. This
Rick Owens waterfall.
Whoa.
yeah, the little
That's
waterfall.
okay.
Destillator. Yeah, this thing,
Okay.
dude, this thing is crazy.
Yeah,
Like-
the sleeve stack on Rick pieces is probably one of my favorite things that
Yeah.
I've seen. Yeah, just looks amazing. He makes
Yeah.
it look like it's not crinkled. It's more just like a affected, like it's woven into the garment almost. That it has.
Waterfall.
Exactly. And I got
Yeah.
this for like the greatest price on earth.
Like
Yeah,
Charles,
you
if
got
you're
such
watching
a good
this, I
price.
love you.
Oh,
Like-
I got one more piece. It's not in yet, but the Prada knit. I had
Oh,
to
yeah.
flex it. I'm so excited.
Oh,
I'm
I
so
think you got
excited.
that for like ridiculously cheap too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get the steals.
I got I'm gonna be going back to full-time schooling again. I live in about the same area as Christian. I'm only like a couple kilometers out from him, or miles, I guess, for you guys. But yeah, we're not too far apart. I'm more in the city. Christian's more rural, so I guess I'm a little more at risk.
I'm a
but,
country
yeah.
boy.
I'm still going to be going to full-time school. I'm just going to be finishing up high school this year. This is my last year. And then for pickups, I honestly don't do a lot of shopping for myself. Mainly what I get curated through the page is what I end up wearing on a day-to-day basis, as well as just a lot of vintage essentials. So yeah, not too much pickups. I have a Helmut Lang 1998 crossbody bag that I'll probably be using for back to school if I am going to be like holding on to it for the time being. Wouldn't be surprised if I end up selling it by then. But yeah, I don't really do a lot of pickups for myself personally. But yeah, that should be all. All of us are just in an okay scenario right now, thankfully, with Corona at the moment. So I appreciate you in on that.
That's so crazy that you're done high school. I still got 2 years of high school, so
Yeah,
That's
Am
insane.
I'm like the oldest person here too. It's just funny.
Yeah.
dude, I'm 15. This is crazy that you guys are still going like this. It's insane. It's crazy, boys.
Fucking 19, dude.
Wow. Yeah, my pickups have consisted of steals and then just vintage stuff that I've hassled Alex down 30
vintage
cents
stuff
for.
that Christian's absolutely bargained me down 40% offers on. But,
Jesus.
He wanted
no,
he
you
wanted
don't
10
get those pieces.
Actually, hold up. I don't like how this fits me, but I got this Helmut Lang like military type t-shirt with
Oh, I
like
see that one for sale. Actually, I'm not gonna say where I've seen it, but I did see that one for sale. That was a good
Yeah.
price.
it fits weird.
Hold up.
The sleeves are kind of like long and the shoulders are very like
They have the
structured.
military
Oh,
ribbing
God.
on the shoulders and pocket, right?
What's up?
They have the militaristic ribbing on the shoulders and pocket, right?
It's actually not even a pocket. It's like just a patch.
Oh wow.
It's more of just like a twill material on the patches.
Wow.
That's dope. Alex
yeah.
sold
Yeah,
me
it's
this
okay.
and I love this. It's just a vintage bomber. It's got like some
Yeah, it's a
distressing and
70s
paint
bomber.
on it. It's so sick. The tag is like falling off. It's cool.
That's so
I
sick.
fuck with it. That's it.
Dude,
Yeah.
Jackson, you're still wearing the sweats, dude.
What's up?
I miss the Rick sweats. I see them everywhere, bro.
Are they the Berlins?
No,
I
there's just
literally see them everywhere now.
dark shadow pushers. You gave me a amazing price, so thank you.
Yes, and I'm so glad.
Oh,
you
they're
still wear
the button side ones.
Yeah, the easy pushers.
Oh yeah. I have seen a lot of people wearing those. I've seen most people wear them with the flare out around the bottom cuff, and then they look nice. I like those. One of the Rick
Dude,
pieces.
I got one of my best fits off in the fucking pants, bro. Oh my god.
I got my Rick Burks in yesterday. Turns out they're dead stock. Guy didn't tell me that they were dead stock, but that's sweet.
How great.
That's always a
Wow.
nice surprise.
Yeah.
That's a pleasant ass surprise.
Yes.
That's dope. Hell yeah. All right.
Should we
Any-
wrap
the
up
end?
everything then, guys? I think that's all.
Wait,
I think that's
I,
it.
I want to see. I want to see if anybody more topics we should talk about. I'm just kind of curious.
Someone said, "Did you guys peep Joy releasing new clothes?" Also, Jackson, do you still have that Brad knit?
No, I gave it to my girlfriend. But I have not. I haven't seen anything except for the sicko stuff. It's honestly kind
Oh yeah, I saw some of the sicko stuff. I'm once again.
I hate
Yeah.
sicko.
If you want to pay that much for screen printed items from a guy that is of that, I don't even need to touch on what he's done. But
Fuck Ian Connor.
Yeah,
honestly,
I just had to say it, bro. I have no
Yeah.
respect for him.
he does not deserve a platform, and the fact that people still are in love with him and
idolize.
literally
What's he at? Like 22 sexual assault charges or something like that, or like
I don't know, but
30.
like
alleged?
I don't care how old the tweets are. I don't care how old what he said is. He said this type of stuff.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna say it, but you guys probably saw the Instagram posts and things like that.
Yeah.
Say things like that, and then are like, "Oh, I didn't do anything."
Yeah, I can't stand behind sicko, or I can't stand behind revenge for those type of reasons or anything really affiliated with that. What you wear is a visual representation of what you stand behind as well. So
And what you represent.
Exactly.
yeah, so by wearing something that represents or supports someone like that, it's just something I can't really get behind. So yeah, that's how I feel about sicko.
People say that you're supposed to separate the art from the artist, but in this case, I really just
no,
can't.
you can
I
separate
can't.
the art from the artist when it's something to do with like their creative body of work,
Yeah.
or it's something that's like an expressive form. But when it's like a financial means of backing whatever the type of activity that you do is like this, then yeah, it's not something.
Yeah.
to stand.
There's
I
a difference
just
between
can't-
appreciating and just funding it, because you can't just
Yeah.
be like, oh yeah, it's cool, but just like I
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
attach myself
No,
to
you're
that.
supporting someone that does that type of stuff by buying sicko. So
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
Somebody said, "Wait, what did he do?" Who are you talking about, Joy or Ian Connor? Because
I think it's Ian Connor.
oh, the Joy Division dude, that guy's sweet. He's making cool stuff. Yeah, so
actually nice,
nothing
like-
to do with him. He
Forrest
seems like
said
a nice guy.
33.
Yeah.
33 alleged. No. What?
Yeah, dude.
That's
33.
disgusting. That's
no matter
so
what the
gross.
number is, even if it's one, they do not
Yeah.
deserve the platform.
Yeah, well,
33
there's
is
video evidence
heinous.
of more than one, so it's
Dude, more than one is heinous. That's,
behind.
It's
oh,
gross.
God.
It's so gross. Ew.
I think I'm about ready to end this off.
Call
Then.
it quits.
That was
Yeah, I think we can wrap on that turn, man.
all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much to everybody who tuned in. Hope you learned a little bit about Comme today. Yeah, I just really appreciate you guys for the constant love and support.
Facts.
It's beautiful to see.
Seriously.
Yeah,
Someone
thank
said
you.
end the
We
Chrome
should be-
Wars.
We should be back on a
And the
more
Chrome
regular.
Wars.
So end the Chrome Wars. Okay, I'll bring out the Chrome pieces next time
Yes.
Oh, if they're still there.
if they're still there. All right,
All right.
peace out, guys.
Thank you
so
all.
much
Yeah.
for tuning in.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Tune in next time. I don't know.
You guys are all goated. Thank you for all your interaction and staying true and coming out here and watching. I appreciate it.